I guess I'm also just kind of starved for more sandboxy type games comparatively.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you've never really played them.
What would you consider to be a sandbox?
I mean, there's a couple of different sandboxes, but sandboxes tend to just be a bit more freeform. They might have a linearity to them, but the way you go about stuff is not fixed. So, I mean, Roller Coaster Tycoon,
Well,
sandbox.
I played a lot of that.
Uh,
I played a lot of Roller Coaster and Zoo Tycoon.
yeah, when you were younger. But, like, with those games, it's not like you have to put down this roller coaster, then these things. It's just kind of like, here's what you can do, but you don't have to do it. If you want to have an amusement park that is powered entirely based on food, and make it work, like, go more power to you.
I thought it was very difficult to make money or get good ratings with that, though.
Oh, yeah. I almost always went super bankrupt, but that was okay.
I always remembered having to hire so many, what was it, janitors and such because of all the barf.
Mm-hmm. I would always just screw around for the afternoon. Usually do silly stuff like make an island for patrons that I didn't like.
Oh, right. I always did that, too. If anyone complained or was angry, I'd put them on that island.
Exile them inside the park.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. But so...
My brother once built a park where you would get onto a ride and get off of it, but when you get off the ride, you can't go back to the exit. You have to continue on to the next ride. And there were spots in between for food and bathrooms and such.
Mm-hmm.
But they always had to keep going forward.
See, does that make Farm Simulator sandbox game? Yeah. So I would say sandbox is maybe too broad of a genre. To be, like, discussed well. It's like saying action RPG, which can apply to so many different things at this point. Or even just, like, RPG can apply to way too many things. Like, hell, RPG applies to shooters, it applies to...
Well, isn't it an RPG when there's some level of customization?
Well,
or...
the interesting thing is there's two different varieties of RPG. You have RPGs like,
Or when you actually create your character, too.
So, Mass Effect is an RPG, but a decent amount of visual novels could also be considered RPGs because it's a role-playing game.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess by that merit, most games are. The games that wouldn't be would be like sports sims.
But isn't the whole role-playing bit when you customize a character? That's why you have MMORPGs.
I guess, but this is an RPG. And I did not make any of these characters.
Is that what it titled itself? Or are you just throwing it in with
it's a
JRPGs?
Japanese RPG. Japanese role-playing game. JRPGs rarely have you make your own characters.
It could just be... No, you're right. How with Final Fantasy and a whole bunch of other games, they do have very set characters. But it seems like in Western games, an RPG is more often than not one where you do craft your main character. And there are choices when it comes to character builds and dialogue options.
I mean, I think RPGs
because otherwise it would just be an action-adventure game.
Yeah.
If you... Oh, these are different.
Yeah, they're red. Music's different, too.
Flower Gardener.
They're toughers.
Oh, well, you needed to kill some Flower Gardeners for a
Oh,
quest.
you're right. I like this music a lot. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't realized, but we've been mostly listening to the same song this entire time. But no, like, I think there's a bunch of... that would actually be a really interesting video to do. Like, you know how I've been effectively trying
About genres?
Yeah, breaking down genres and trying to somewhat define them. Genres and subgenres, because there's so many of both. Because, you know, we've got RPGs, shooters, I mean, first-person action games. And it's like this stupid, messy Venn diagram. I wonder if you could actually do that. Lay them all down with examples. At least one example of each. Oh, that would take forever.
Well, because, yeah, so obviously you have first person, which is different than most over-the-shoulder third person. But then there's, yeah, shooters versus turn-based versus action combat.
And then you've got stuff like this, which is real-time battle, which is kind of the midpoint between. Let's see. Where did we even come up with this? I forgot why we were talking about this.
Let's see. We're talking about sandbox games.
Oh, sandbox games. Right. But yeah, there's a lot of different games that I would say absolutely qualify as sandbox. It just depends on... let's see. Put the animal hide. The animal hide. Give up the large feather. Okay, there we go. Alright, there we go. That's done. I was kind of hoping we could fight more of those. Those were kind of engaging.
Well, now they're no longer blocking the Traveler's Road, so can we continue on?
No. They weren't blocking it at all.
Well, it said that they were.
Yeah, but they weren't. They're just blocking access to the Mother Weasel. Is this some kind of treasure map?
Yeah, it looks like it just might be. I thought stuff like this only existed in fairy tales, but I guess not.
Well, to be fair, if you hide something valuable and write it down, technically you just created a treasure map.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I just love treasure maps. They're so romantic.
Still, we don't know if the treasure is actually worth anything, or if the map is even real.
Sure, but figuring all that out is part of the fun of hunting for treasure. Yep. I was about to say hunting down treasure, but it's like, no, hunting for treasure. Tutorial treasure. Treasure is hidden all over the world. Some treasure is marked on treasure maps, which are made up of fragments that can be joined together. Explore the area each fragment shows in order to find the next fragment and, ultimately, the treasure. Treasure map info can be found in the memory map. What's waiting for you inside each treasure chest is something only you can discover. Red solid fuel recipe. Oil mixing, the jiggling recipe. Gelatin powder. Jello. I should make that pistachio pudding or the butterscotch pudding.
Pudding would be nice.
Pudding.
Still insufficient materials. Where the heck do I find plant essence? Do I make that?
You probably have to make the plant essence out of plants.
Plant.
You know, it'd be interesting to make a diagram of various game genres. Because it really comes down to aesthetic, perspective, gameplay mechanics, and how you access the map. Because, for instance, you could have a side-scroller shooter, but what makes it a Metroidvania is the fact that you have access to certain areas and you have to go back in order to access them with new items that you acquire along the way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
so like a Metroidvania can be applied to a first-person shooter or
or even some other games.
Platformer.
There's Journey to the Savage Planet that's coming out soon. That is a third-person shooter or maybe first-person shooter. Metroidvania. You could also claim that Dark Souls, and also more recently, and probably in a better expression, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, that absolutely had Metroidvania level design elements thrown in. I don't think it was a true Metroidvania. There was backtracking, but none of it was that meaningful.
At the same time, with all of those pickups, I remember back when I was playing Metroid Prime, which is very different definition in part of a Metroidvania, which is why it's Metroidvania, like Castlevania Metroid. But in order for me to get extra pickups, if I had, say, the fire plasma ray, and there had been an item way back on another planet that had been covered in ice, I'd have to remember that, go back and, melt the ice in order to access that item.
Yep.
And that would also apply for doors. It would apply to, like, fighting particular enemies, etc. So.
Yeah. Oh, we needed mixing oil for something. And I don't remember what. So hammer requires ethereal stone. It was this. There we go.
Wait, what is that?
Healing chip, apparently.
It looks like a half-melted piece of butter
that's
metal.
mixing oil.
Mixing oil. Huh.
I have no idea what healing chip is. Ooh, curing blind and sleep might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, why don't you do sleep cure or slow cure?
Yeah.
Just add healing effects to this
Fantasy
healing chip.
Spore gets rid of blind and sleep.
Oh.
I think this is a healing item, or it's a crafting component. I can't really tell. Oh, it doesn't have CC, so it's a material. Well, we'll use it for something. Or, I don't know. I get up here, apparently.
Did we just improve the healing chip? I don't...
We made a very good healing chip.
But I don't know if it added those.
Well, it did, but since it's a building material...
We won't be able to actually access that bonus until we find something that it can apply to.
Yeah. Let's see, do I have anything with 2 reds? So I don't think I can... I don't think I can do this. Wait. Almost there. Yeah, we need just a little bit more. I need a 2 fire fruit to get through this one. Let's see, what else can I make? Still can't make hammer. We already made a scythe axe. Oh, I'm running out of supplements. Supplements!
Just trying to craft out as many
kind of
areas as you can.
It's kind of one of those where it's just like, I'm pretty sure alchemy makes time pass, and so I'm just trying to run through a number of these right now. Clear some of my stock. I have no idea if we'll ever run into a limit on the amount of stuff we can store at the Atelier, but just in case. I've been doing this all day in Minecraft, so I don't know, it's just kind of hard-coded at this point. $5,000 items is the limit. Okay.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like a lot, but I come back with like 30 or so per, so...
Well, that's why you mix them together and create one really high-quality item.
I still wish I could,
rather
like,
than
kind
having dozens of components.
batch craft some of these. Whoa, some of these effects are starting to get pretty nuts, though. Like,
now, once you create something, can you essentially create it again with the click of one button,
No.
but add stuff to it?
Nope.
Oh, no.
So, like, that was gourmet paper. That was extra gourmet paper, by the way. Like, if we find that goat again, oh boy, it gets a feedins.
Nah, The goat's just going to leave another hoof print on it.
Yeah, it probably doesn't care. Oh, wait, hold up. We actually do have another recipe here? Oh, wait, no, never mind. Weird. It keeps saying I can get to those recipes, but I can't.
Insufficient materials.
Yeah, I need a hammer. Don't fall asleep on me yet, shall.
I'm not. I was just breathing.
Oh. Fair enough. See more mixing oil. My brain is still in kind of identifying subgenre mode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We can make a list of them.
Yeah.
List making is a pastime of mine in a way.
The problem is, I feel like videos like that trying to talk about genres and subgenres.
There's a lot to debate.
Yeah, I feel like no matter what, I'd have like a legion of people being like, well, actually, this is what a roguelike actually is. And your overarching definition is actually better described as a roguelite.
Uh-huh.
And by not identifying the key differences between the two, it shows that you're not actually a true roguelike fan, and therefore I'm going to disregard everything you say from here on out. It's like, oh, I don't like those people. See, what do we need for the fishing rod? That is an interesting question.
We probably have to get a quest from someone.
Hey.
Preferably a fisherman.
Fishing rod requires delicious bait. Yeah, so we gotta find something for that.
Oh, you did get the recipe for it.
Eh? Maybe? That flour? Let's see if I can make better flour than this. Flour. Yeah, story progression. But no, I've gotten actually a bunch, and it's always kind of one of those that it gets to me after a while. Like, even if I know I'm right, or at least I'm sufficiently right on something, you just eventually get to kind of a point where you just don't want to hear somebody trying to correct you anymore. I mean, you probably have to deal with this more than I do.
For what in particular?
I mean, mansplaining, I guess, kind of.
I suppose.
Did this happen with Star Wars?
So the thing is, much of my Star Wars knowledge was the old canon, and the other thing too was it's changed so much over the years. So when I was explaining particular characters or locales or customs or various, alien species and such, it was what the old canon was. So there were a lot of people trying to correct with the new canon, or there was some weird thing recently about how we were discussing what happens to Padawans who fail to become Jedi or whatnot.
Yeah.
One person was trying to say, oh, the Jedi execute them all, like what Luke tried to do to Kylo Ren, and I facepalmed so hard because I don't even believe the whole. I don't believe that Luke would have ever considered something like that a feasible course of action. Killing his nephew in his sleep. But in any case, no, that is the antithesis of what the Jedi are. And yes, if a Padawan were exceptionally dangerous, or if it was very clear that they had solidly gone to the dark side, or that they were out, committing acts of murder or harming others, then yeah, maybe they would strike down their Padawan. But usually it would be in an instance of self-defense, I would think. But no, there are some Jedi that didn't make it when it came to becoming a knight or going through the trials. And because they were force sensitive, I mean, depending on the level of force sensitivity, some would be reunited with their families, others would serve less diplomatic tasks. Like, they would remain at the temple or help instruct or help keep the archives or a whole host of other things. They didn't necessarily have to be the ones that were wielding the Force and going on various emissary assignments and potentially fighting. There was a lot of investigative stuff going on, where you would have Jedi going undercover and rooting out criminal rings and such. Now, that you would probably need to be a full-fledged Jedi Knight for. But in any case, it was just one of those things where there's a lot of information floating around. There's a couple different versions of canon, and there's things that have been decanonized and things that have been made into recent canon, or things that never were canon, and it's just all over the place. So I can understand people wanting to share what knowledge that they've acquired of it too, but I never like it when it gets to the point where it seems like it's correcting.
Or a competition.
Yeah, that too.
I'm not a big fan of competing for knowledge, I guess. Or maybe not knowledge is the right.
Well, so it does remind me of back when I was in grade school, and I was in a fairly nerdy group of friends, and I just noticed that amongst my female friends, it was always just if someone posited something about a character from a series or something, and it actually wasn't correct information, the other friend would be like, hey, but do you remember that episode when such and such happened? Do you think, that's what happened there? And then the other person would be like, oh yeah, you're right. That kind of thing. But with the guy group, it was just, no, you're wrong about this because this and this and this. And it always seemed like a competition to one-up one another when it came to one's familiarity with a particular subject matter. I don't know. Not to say that that's just inherent amongst guys, but it may have just been the dynamic of that friend group. Also, making fun of each other. My lady friends never did that.
I think making fun of people can be fine. I mean, I certainly ended our last session by making fairly merciless fun of your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, that might have been a little bit more malicious, but maybe justified. I think you can absolutely, make fun of somebody, especially if they're receptive to it or clowning around, especially. It's when the other person doesn't appreciate it and you won't back off on making fun of them. That's when it switches from making fun to just bullying.
I like how people are in...
Disney took a dump on Star Wars.
Yep.
I mean, this is kind of a standard thing no matter what. The bigger and more, corporate stuff gets, generally the more likely it's going to end up kind of losing that original spark. I mean, easy example would be... let's talk game design.
Oh, so have there been game series that...
Tons.
...ever fell prey to...
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Electronic Arts bought Westwood, one of my favorite game dev companies of all time, and more or less proceeded to force them to, add a bunch of extra garbage and, rush the games. And so it went from being this very lovingly crafted but campy series to, what the hell is this? This isn't good. Call of Duty 3 or not Call of Duty, Command & Conquer 3 and 4, I think are, unforgivably bad. As far as the fan base is concerned. I tried playing 3, I didn't even bother touching 4. Whereas, even Red Alert 3 had some issues to it.
Oh, Peter and Empo.
Oh, perfect timing, Ryza. I could really use your help.
What's up?
Apparently Empel came from some faraway place and knows about this thing called alchemy. I'm trying to get him to show me what it's all about, but he keeps refusing. He's so selfish. I'm standing right here, you know. Must you insist on shooting your mouth off?
Wow, you sound so similar, guys.
We were both kind of sad boys. That's not what I meant. I just think you could help revitalize the island. I hate to disappoint you, but I do not use alchemy for such purposes. I have an idea.
I don't like it when you get ideas.
Ryza will use alchemy to do what you need in my place.
Yep, I knew it.
Best of luck to you. Great, then Ryza, tell me all about this alchemy.
Well, I'm not really good enough to teach, but I guess I could make you a few simple items.
Thanks. I can't wait.
Peter can get really carried away sometimes. I guess I should make some items that are very clearly made with alchemy.
Bombs! Magic tool.
Sardines? What about
He's giving me sardines!
sardines?
Let's see. Alchemy. What is alchemy? Have my soft rubber stone. Why does everybody want that from me? Ryza, did you finish whatever you were going to make?
I sure did.
So, is this what alchemy can do? I had no idea what I'm looking at, but even I can tell how amazing it is. Are you sure I can have this?
Of course, but please handle it with care.
Thanks. I'll take real good care of it. Okay, I need to head back and get started on the article right away.
Do you know what the soft rubber stone could be? It could be like a soft plastic.
I was thinking something like asphalt. Maybe. Or
I'm just thinking that the material that revolutionized so much over the last century has been plastic.
Yep.
And unfortunately has also been equally the bane of our existence. So much is made out of plastic. I mean, look at your game systems.
Oh, yeah.
Look at your controllers. Look at our television
I'm pretty
sets.
sure this blanket...
Look at Yes, our blanket is probably all polyester. This is all plastic. All plastic.
Holy shit,
so
actually.
Much fabric is
now
plastic.
that I'm thinking about it, my clothing, definitely my shirt, definitely my shorts, definitely my underwear.
Components of your glasses.
Yeah, my
your
phone.
Headphones.
This Tupperware.
The Tupperware.
Probably our carpeting.
Yeah. And that's why everything sets on fire.
Man.
And also
that's actually really disconcerting.
Puts off a lot of bad chemicals.
That is, I am honestly kind of just bothered by how much plastic we have now that I'm thinking about it. But you don't think about it and then it's like, oh shit, yeah, everything is just, ugh. Alright.
Back in the day, my father specialized in plastics. Could you imagine that? But the interesting thing is, yeah, so we have so much plastic, and yeah, there's plastic cartons for food, plastic wrap, plastic, you know, it's everywhere. Plastic straws, plastic cups, plastic, it's everywhere. And, oh, peanuts. How about yeah, there's just so much of it. Plastic foams.
Yep.
And it's...
Here, let's finish this so I don't have to stare at this guy's weird lozenge tongue.
Okay, fine.
Oh, and don't be surprised if I ask you to alchemize a few more things for me. Okay, bye.
That guy just never lets up. Yeah, and people are mentioning about oil and plastic. Yep. There's actually... If you've ever had a rubbery substance that was plastic, like a rubber plastic, from at least 10 years plus, have you guys ever noticed that elastic bands and... Well, elastic has rubber in it. Maybe natural rubbers would do that, but so I had some really, really old rubberized plastic toys and my flippers and such from way back in the day. And if you ever pick them up after they've been, you know, stewing for decades, they have this essentially petroleum seeping out of them and then they crumble. It's really interesting. But, oh, what's going on? What? You again, boss? What? Is Claudia your next target?
Huh. Big surprise seeing you all together. That's not bad enough. You pretend to be adventurers. Now you're doing weird stuff with some outsider. Yeah, I heard you've been going door to door begging for work.
What do you mean, weird? It's alchemy. Anyway, I don't have time for this.
Huh. You're too old to be getting all excited over a bunch of stupid magic spells. You're such a child. Who are you calling a child? Ah!
Why do you speak to her like that? You drag Lumbar around with you and act like some schoolyard bully. Who's the real child here?
He's my training partner. I'm the heir to the Brunin legacy, you know? I don't have time for the likes of you.
Why are you so intent on antagonizing Ryza?
What? No, she's... They're always running around, chasing after their silly dreams like a bunch of idiots.
Do you know what it is?
He's jealous.
He's jealous. He wants to be able to follow his own dreams and his own path in life, but he has the legacy to uphold. Yep.
I, meanwhile, am a Brunin man. I spend every day studying and honing my skills with the blade.
But Ryza and her friends aren't all that different.
They're only acting like this because you wandered into their lives, so they have something to latch onto. Watch it, boss. I've been going easy on you because we've known each other for so long, but... You're the one that needs to watch it. You think you have any control over anything?
Fine. We'll show you just how much we've changed.
Huh. You better keep this up. At least till her family leaves. It'll be pretty embarrassing for you otherwise.
I meant what I said. We're going to do this.
Yeah, we'll show that little punk boss. No, we'll show the entire village just how serious we are. I've changed too, but I was too afraid to say it in front of boss.
Do they all used to be friends or something? Anyway, what are you doing, Claudia? Oh, right. Well, something came up, and I had to come talk to you. Actually, Father says he has another task for you, so he sent me to come and get you. Great. I've been waiting for this. I wonder what he's got in store for us this time. I don't know the details, but I guess it'll take place near where we're staying. All right. Well, let's all head over there together. Oh, that's interesting. The mayor's with them. Hello, Mr. Valence and Mr. Brunin.
There you little brats are. You've got some nerve keeping a member of the Brunin family waiting. But brats? You think we're still just a bunch of little kids goofing off or something? Huh. There you go again, acting all high and mighty.
Father, isn't this to do with their next task? What's Mr. Brunin doing here?
Because the next task is a request from the village itself. You see all this junk here?
Oh yeah, we've noticed that the whole game. It's definitely an eyesore.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of stuff scattered around.
It's mostly... Wait, no. It's mostly debris from the earthquake a few days ago, along with a few extra things. It wasn't much to begin with, but stuff started piling up, and people even started throwing trash in it.
Wait, so an earthquake occurred, some
And it
rubble
became the
fell,
dump.
and then everyone started throwing their trash on it?
Yep. I am getting Lombard and Moritz's voices mixed up. What was my original? Because I both gave them evil laughs.
Okay, well, first off, Lombard should just be dour and dark. And Moritz needs... If you've made
Boss have
a slightly British accent, then he
Okay.
needs to be more so.
It's making it hard to get around. People are complaining, and it's my job to look after things here.
Okay.
That'll work.
Okay. And what do you want us to do?
Use that wonderful miracle, whatever thing of yours, to clean it all up.
It's not some whatever thing. It's alchemy.
Fine, whatever. Can you handle it or not?
If that's what I have to do, then yes, I can.
Oh, that's not the spirited response I was hoping for. Lubart, are you sure about this? Yes, her alchemy managed to fix the leak in my basement. I'm prepared to entrust her with this. Well, if you insist, but you kids better not disappoint me.
Like I care about that. But for Claudia's sake, I'll do what needs to be done. You're just laughing all the way up the stairs.
I get the feeling that this is Lubart's, like, just scheme to get free labor out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Everyone has already been getting free labor. Well, no. They've been paying you in sardines and such.
Sardines and pocket sand.
Mm-hmm.
So first we have to fix a leak, and now we have to clean up a bunch of junk. They really are treating us like a bunch of common handymen. Hey, you know there's an unemployed handyman in the center of town.
Yeah, let's get him.
Guy needs a job.
I'm really sorry about all this. No, we really don't mind. For now, we just have to figure out what to do with all this stuff.
Most of it's pretty small, so it shouldn't be too hard to move. But actually breaking it down could be tough.
Breaking it down? That's it! We don't break it down. We blow it up. Hey, why are you making those faces? Do we have enough material to
Probably.
blow it up?
Nope. I need to make a better bomb.
Better
Time
bomb.
to go make a big boom bomb. Time to use bombs in the center of town. Yup.
Hey, Empel, what's that jangly thing you have?
Oh, this. It's a jewel commonly used in alchemy. I call it a gem. Not very creative, I know.
It's beautiful.
Sorry.
It's beautiful, so use it as an alchemy ingredient.
Huh? Perhaps you're ready. You see, alchemy allows you to reinforce items you've already made.
What do you mean?
It lets you surpass an item's normal limit. Mastery will even allow you to create more powerful items. Of course, with such special techniques, it requires special materials, which is where gems like this come in.
And where do you get these gems?
Through a process called reduction, you take different materials and convert them into gems.
That's so cool! So you can create jewels from normal materials. Why not just sell them and get rich?
They make glitter the same way, but they're not true jewels, so there's no real demand for them. They have a massive practical value for alchemists, but who would pay for something you can make yourself?
So they're not worth a single coal, even though they're so pretty. That's too bad.
And just like that, your clever but naive plan is foiled. Anyway, let me explain the process for reinforcing.
Tutorial item rebuild. Previously crafted items can be reinforced by using using item rebuild. I was about to say them. Bleh. Item rebuild. This can only be used on items that Ryza has synthesized. These items are indicated via an icon to the right of the item's level. Oh, there we go. Ingot metal. A normal synthesis limits how many materials you can use, but item rebuild lets you add even more. As a result, you can create items you wouldn't be able to do with normal synthesis. However, their item level will increase according to element value +1. During item rebuild, the item can't exceed Ryza's alchemy level. Think carefully about which material loop to level up before selecting the item to use. If the item level is too high, you won't be able to use it, so pay very close attention. Gem reduction. Each time you add materials to an item rebuild, you need gems. You can obtain these by using gem reduction, which can turn any item into gems. Use this process to convert any items you have no use for.
Okay. Let's see. So we want to do gem reduction on sort by guide? Is guide the type? Yeah, it looks like it.
I'd like to look into that. When was plastic first invented? It must have been after the 1950s. Or around the 1950s? What do you think? No, but they had Bakelite as early as the 1930s or 20s.
I think we had plastics earlier. It's just high-scale production and use definitely is a more recent thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see, plastic made things a lot more affordable because beforehand, you had to make things like, out of glass, wood, and metal, correct?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I do kind of miss maybe that, because there was more of a feeling of craftsmanship. But I don't know. It always is really cool to go into like a fully wooden hand carved, for example, furniture stores.
Oh, yeah. I mean, currently the majority of our furniture is the pressed wood.
Yeah.
Which has a lot of chemicals in it. If you think about it, it has a lot of glues and formaldehyde and stuff in it. Because we do get a lot from IKEA. And it's even laminated in plastic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to invest in something great for a more permanent home, yeah, get solid wood furniture. Rather than cheap IKEA stuff. But yeah, if you think about it, metal and plastic, metal and glass, very, very heavy. And that's something that you couldn't really use for items that were intended to be light. And wood really couldn't be used around anything electrical or something that would need to be exposed to water. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, plastic doesn't really react with water, is light, doesn't corrode. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like metal would? Doesn't shatter in the way that glass does. Yes, it can break, but do you know what I'm getting at?
Yep.
So it really is a wondrous material. At the same time, there's a lot of... you do have to wonder what's going into it, what pollution does it create, and then how is it going to be disposed or recycled properly?
Most of the time it's barely disposed properly.
Mm-hmm.
If even. Like, I think we generally just ship it off to China, which is terrible.
And I think they've stopped having as much of that. They used to recycle it and then turn it into products over there. But
I hope within the next couple of years.
There have been measures to get rid of plastic bags.
Yeah.
Which has been good.
Yep. I've really appreciated that around here. And admittedly, like, paper bags are still kind of wasteful, but...
Yeah, I was actually reading a report that to make paper bags is actually just as damaging to the environment as plastic bags.
The one thing I would say is, making it, yes.
But the having it, quote-unquote, rot, but
is not
like,
nearly as
break
damaging.
down there afterwards.
Like,
yeah.
When I was in California, down in San Diego,
there's so much plastic in the ocean.
There was so many just plastic bags or like cans or...
And I really appreciated about the Aquaman movie that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
How part of the villain's reasonings for waging war with the humans in the mainland is that, yeah, look at all the pollutants they're throwing into the ocean. I'm like, huh. Yeah, that's an interesting point to bring up. People are asking about the plastic continent. I thought it was the Pacific.
Yeah, it's in the Pacific.
Yeah, I think there might be a giant swirling whirlpool of plastic that's in the Pacific Ocean.
And admittedly, I think we actually have groups that are specifically...
There might be something in the Atlantic, but I think the Atlantic has those... What are they called again?
Yeah.
There are these currents in the Atlantic that are constantly moving things around, and I don't think they necessarily swirl in a circle. But I think that in the Pacific, they definitely have this giant swirling circle. People are saying it's from fishing refuse as well. Yeah, that's the thing too. You know how there were old fishing nets and stuff? A lot of those fishing nets are now made out of nylon. So another plastic. So then you have a bunch of plastic fishing nets, and they're just scraping the bottom of the ocean. Remember when we were learning about fishing techniques? And how they just have this trawling where they're literally scraping the ocean floor with weighted nets that bring up everything. It's terrible. Just all the damage that they're doing to whatever ecosystems or reefs are underneath. And it's interesting, not very far from where we are, there's, let's see, like a little bit further to the south, you can just see in the distance a landfill. And you have to wonder what happens to those hills. It looks like they cover them up with dirt and grass, and then they put little, what do they have? They have these little stacks, if you will, to let out gas. Is that what they do?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to that land? I don't know. How many decades or hundreds of years will it take before it becomes solid enough earth to potentially build over again? And then, of course, I remember having grown up in upstate New York. Upstate New York would get tons and tons of trucks of trash from New York City. And New York City would export so much trash to neighboring states to get rid of. But I know that there are efforts to make biodegradable substances that are like plastic. And I think that those should definitely be used for food. Like the storage of food.
Mm-hmm.
Because any given week, when we purchase things, we notice that so much of the plastic that we're recycling is just from holding food items.
Oh, hey.
And I think where we are, there's an incentive to recycle your bottles and your cans and such because you get 10 cents back. I think back in New York it was 5 cents. I wonder how many states have that. The bottle return?
I think most states have a bottle return. Some have...
It's only like 10 states from what I've ever seen on bottles.
Oh, maybe I've just always lived in those states.
Yeah, I think we've always lived in those states. Actually, wait a minute. I don't know if Kansas had a bottle return. Did it?
No.
No, it didn't. But you see, we're from Massachusetts and New York, and they have bottle returns.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon has bottle returns, but Oregon's is even more costly. I think second only to California, or California's is just as high as Oregon. People are calling it bottle ransom. Yeah,
That's kind of what it is.
I suppose. Do they charge you more for bottled products?
Yeah, yeah.
So that you're technically getting your money back.
Yeah, you're getting your money back. But like, for me, I don't know. I guess I'm fine with it, largely because like I know a lot of kind of just trashy people. They're like, you know,
Throw it in the trash?
yeah, just chuck it in the trash. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Or it's on the
Like-
side of the road.
Yeah.
I hate seeing that.
Oh, I absolutely hate that. I remember.
Oh, people are saying, is that Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York? Is that Indiana? Or is it Iowa? What's IA?
IR. Oh, IA.
IA.
Indiana, I think.
Okay. Why Michigan? Wait, but there's also IR. Wait, no, it wouldn't be, because there's. Let me see. Oh, yeah, OR. Sorry, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, IA is Iowa.
Oh,
right.
it is Iowa.
Yeah, Indiana is ID. Or.
No, I thought that would be Idaho.
Oh, you're right. It would be
uh,
IN?
Maybe IN. Yeah, so then Oregon and California. IN. Okay.
We're just gonna jam so many axes into this scythe axe.
So that's interesting. I would have expected it to be more states. Wouldn't you? Because it doesn't encompass all of New England. Because you still have... What is it? Rhode Island and Delaware and... New Hampshire? Yeah, none of those are on that list. That's interesting. Bottle companies don't like it, so they try... Well, what they should do is they should... I don't know. I was thinking about, you know, progress won't really be made unless companies are held responsible for the waste that they produce. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I just remember back in the old days, dairies would have their own bottles that you would refill, correct?
Yeah.
And I remember when we were back in Kansas, we would get a bottle and we'd return it. And then we would get money for the bottle, but then the bottle would also be reused for the same milk company's milk, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what the deal was. So, in a way, I almost wish that there was a way for, especially sports drinks and stuff, if they just had glass again. And I really didn't like it the other day when we went to, what was it? We went to drop off our bottles, and do you remember just the resounding crashing after every glass bottle was thrown into the glass container? I know that's just going to be recycled, but wouldn't it be nice if companies just collected all their bottles and washed them and used them again?
Yeah. I really liked that about the milk company that we would buy the chocolate milk from in Kansas. We would buy the chocolate milk, and they just have a deposit, and then you'd have to drop off the whole thing at Whole Foods.
I was just talking about that.
Oh.
Remember I was telling you about the milk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're just saying you wish that more companies were like that, and I was agreeing by bringing that, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I'm only partially paying attention.
Yeah, you're busy doing alchemy. alchemizing? What would the action verb be for this?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now do I have to use it? Okay, I guess I have to bring it to the Deborah's field. Deborah's. Sometimes it feels like saying nothing will improve until companies are held accountable is enough.
Yeah, that was what I had said before.
I think holding companies is accountable is important, but I think like we as people need to also be cognizant of the damage that like zero regulation on people can do. And that includes, like, just regular people. Like...
And part of it is informed purchasing decisions.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, like, I'm starting to become more conscious about, like, shouldn't eat meat as much. What kind of packaging is my food coming in? Where's my food coming from? That's actually been huge for me lately. Is specifically, I've been trying to buy a lot more food specifically from, like, local and small-time businesses. As opposed to, like, Cheetos. I mean, one, Cheetos are kind of gross. But two, like,
yep.
If all of your snacks are made by one company, the quality is going to slowly drop and the price is going to slowly go up and it's all going to be kind of garbage. I don't know. Anyway, bombs!
It's like a stick of dynamite.
It is a stick of dynamite.
But this is just going to send a cloud of vapor and debris and stuff into the air. This isn't going to get rid of it. What does she think?
That's a terrible idea.
All right. Time to blast it into dust. Fine, tiny particulates that will pollute the entire town.
Are you sure this is a good idea? I mean, it does seem like a pretty easy way to handle it, but Ryza's plans are all like this. Poorly thought out and super dangerous. Just watch your head, okay?
Hey, quiet over there.
Wow, she is up in his grill.
Here goes. Wait.
Scaffolding is unharmed.
What? It just... See? It went exactly according to plan. That was a snap.
I'm just glad it wasn't a total disaster. That could have been a lot worse considering whose idea it was.
Why do you always have to downplay everything? Just compliment me like a normal person.
What was that an explosion I heard? What's going on?
What do you think? All the junk is gone. Inexplicably.
Huh. The ground is a bit charred, but I can't deny that you cleared up the area. Well done, Raislin. You completed task number 2.
Wait, there's more? Awesome. Wait, the way you said that makes me think we're not finished yet.
I feel like this should have been a learning moment for Ryza to be like, okay, maybe rampant alchemy is a bad idea. You know, with no restrictions. But nope! Blow it all to hell! Of course not. No parent could entrust their child to someone so easily. So what's next? You want us to fix a roof? Paint your fence? Oh, can alchemy really do all that?
Don't give them ideas, Tao!
Hey, shut up! You might actually make us do it. Oh, jeez. Why not just do every single chore for all of the villagers? You want everyone to like you, right? Shut up, boss. You think what we did here was just some normal chore? Of course you picked up some trash. By the way, I suggested you to Father. You should be thanking me.
Father, is that really the only reason you had them do this?
Look
at that smile on his face.
No.
I don't care if it's just some normal chore. We're still doing good, right? You're right. I should thank you. You gave me the chance to show everyone how great my alchemy is.
You're just covering for the fact that you're a sore loser. He thinks we're the sore losers. We showed him, didn't we? But just what is going on here? Just consider it a little spat between children. Huh. Anyway, shall we return? I wish their animations were synced up. Like, they were like, simultaneously power walking in tandem.
Father.
Now what?
Do we have to wait?
Wait for a day. Alright. I wonder if it's a good maniacal laugh. It's because usually when I'm laughing, I sound maddened. So I've just accepted it because it's easier. Let's see. I guess I need more building material. We're actually starting to run out of stuff. Mostly because I converted it all into gems. Oh, you know what I should do? Oh, and that was it, I guess.
Huh? Claudia? Hello, Ryza. Where are the others? Here and there. But what are you doing here? Did you come alone? Are you sure that's a good idea? Well, I wanted to play the flute for you again. And I wanted to do it here, in our hideout. Oh! I'm glad you're starting to get comfortable here. So, in return, I won't tell your dad about this. Thank you. Anyway, I'm ready whenever you are. Thank you for listening. That was so great! You seemed more at ease than last time. I bet you'll be able to do that for everyone soon. It might still be a little early for that.
Hello, we're back. Oh, hello, Claudia.
Welcome back, I guess. Have you been investigating the ruins? Has that awful monster returned? No, we haven't spotted it anywhere around here, which is a good thing, I suppose. It definitely is. I want to keep this area safe so Claudia can come here whenever she wants without worrying.
And so she can play that, am I right?
Oh. This is just...
No need to hide it. I noticed you carrying that instrument case when I first met you.
Huh? So, you both know that about Claudia and her flute? I've seen plenty of flutes during my travels. I didn't think it was worth mentioning. Oh, I see.
I assume you've been practicing in secret, away from prying eyes.
I'd really appreciate it if you didn't tell my father about this.
So that's why you wandered off from the caravan. You were looking for a place to play in peace.
It's not just about her dad. Who knows what Boss would do if he saw her with it? Boss? You think he would be mean to me? Yeah, he'd probably call it frivolous. Absolutely. He does whatever he can to annoy us. If he found out you wanted to keep it a secret...
You know that you shouldn't speak ill of your friends like that.
Friend? Boss isn't... He's not my friend.
Anyway, I apologize for interrupting your practice, Lila. Why don't we go over another survey?
Okay. Well, see you later. I should probably get going. Thank you for listening again.
Sorry about that. Moose had asked for asked if I had a spare copy of Doraemon.
Of what?
The Doraemon Story of Seasons thing that Namco Bandai published recently.
I don't know.
Well, I did have a spare copy, so I sent it her way.
Have you played it?
No. I have no intention. Doraemon freaks me out. Like on some deep, unsettling level.
Wait, what is it?
It's like the equivalent of Japanese Barney.
Oh.
Yeah. It seems like a really charming game, but I just... kind of twofold thing. One, I really don't want to play anything that's very clearly targeted towards children at the moment. Like, I'm not too afraid of Kappa, but I'm just afraid enough that I don't want to, like, deal with that kind of thing. Oh, this is an easy way to get a boatload of gems.
You mean making gems from water?
Yeah. I mean, it's not worth it. There's better resources. So what are we doing now? Oh, head to Bowden District. I guess that actually was a sufficient amount of time spent. I'm just gonna kind of grab a couple of these.
I feel bad that our last... so much of the past several minutes had been just discussion about... Or I should say hour? Or half hour? I don't know how much time we had spent talking about plastic and its pervasiveness.
I mean, it just happens. There's sometimes just not a lot going on.